And I state that without arrogance. I don't mean to be arrogant, but I am a realist. And as a realist, it would be absolutely unprofessional for me to sit here and pretend I'm not an exceptional human being. Because I am.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, this is my video on the Emanuel Navarrete Liam Wilson fight. As you guys know, I wasn't on the live with my pops for this fight because I was enjoying the NHL All-Star Game festivities here in South Florida all weekend. So, you know, I let him do the lives, and I kind of just went ahead and enjoyed myself. But I did take the time to catch up on the fights and what happened and what took place. And wow. We'll start with this fight. Navarrete versus Liam Wilson. First of all, what a fight. Like, what a fight. This is a fight that, I'll be honest with you guys, I wasn't like insanely excited about coming in because, you know, Liam Wilson, pretty unheralded guy. 11-1 coming into the fight, you know, from Australia. But I, you know, the little bit I knew about him, I knew he could punch a little bit, and I knew that he had been sparring out there in Washington, D.C. at Barry Hunter's gym, the Headbangers gym, because I know a fighter, that there was a fighter from South Florida that he sparred named Devin Tap Williams. And I know Tap Williams, he used to spar at Beta Bay Boxing Gym with Pete Dobson and a couple other guys. So, you know, I had minimal information about Liam Wilson going into the fight. He was a pretty sizable underdog fighting Navarrete. Navarrete was a heavy favorite, 14-1 favorite. Wilson, the 14-1 underdog. And let's talk about the fight. Liam Wilson, I think early on in the fight, he was landing some good shots and spots in the first round or two, but you know, it took him a little bit of time to get used to the awkward, lunging, gunslinging ways of a Navarrete. He's a very unconventional boxer. He has very unconventional ways about him. So for any fighter, it's gonna take time to get used to that style. But I thought Liam, in the early parts of the first 2 rounds, he acquitted himself very well. He really showed a good account of himself, and you know, yeah, he got hit with some shots, but you know, he was able to fire back and land good right hands of his own and things like that. And then the fight to me really began in round 3, where you saw Liam Wilson make the first real adjustment of the fight. Wilson can switch hit a little bit, and he started doing that. He went from orthodox to southpaw, and when he was in that southpaw stance, he started kind of digging that left hand to the body and countering Navarrete with the left hand, right? So this is a precursor to what was going to happen in the next round, which I think was really a key moment in the fight. Wilson catches Navarrete lunging in round 4 with a big left hook, and then that stunned him. He got hit him with a barrage of punches, eventually drops him to give, you know, himself a big chance to win the fight. This also winds up being the first knockdown of Navarrete's career, so a big deal for Wilson there. And it looked like Wilson was going to, you know, get Navarrete out of there. Now, there was a controversy that a lot of people have been talking about. People are saying that Navarrete got too much time, and, you know, whether he did or he didn't, that's besides the point. These time controversies are, you know, always a thing in boxing. It was the same thing with Wilder and Fury and whatnot. It's the same thing here. My issue isn't with the you know, I really don't care about the time thing, to be honest with you. Like, whether he got more time or didn't get more time, it's besides the point. What happened, happened. I think Liam Wilson had a chance that round and in the 5th round and in the 6th round to really, put his foot on Navarrete's throat. He had a beat guy in front of him. He had a smaller guy moving up in weight who really, I think, looked a little fat and didn't really live the life or prepare the best he could have prepared for this fight. And he didn't take advantage of it. He didn't really step on his throat to do what he can. He could have been champion. He didn't do it. Now, Wilson wound up hurting that. He hurt Navarrete again in the 6th round, but he wound up not getting him out of there. And this would be ultimately his ultimate undoing, because Navarrete is a world-class championship fighter who traditionally gets better as fights goes on. So you already dropped him once in the 4th round. You hurt him in the 6th. If you didn't get him out of there and you still gave this guy some life, then he's gonna know how to fight, get his way back into the fight, and that's ultimately what he did. You saw it in the 8th round as he began to dig to the body of Wilson. and really turn the volume up on those punches. And then ultimately in the 9th round, he winds up stopping Liam Wilson in dramatic fashion. And now Emanuel Navarrete is one of the very few Mexican fighters in boxing history that has become a 3-division world champion. So the real story to me, like credit to Navarrete for showing heart. Credit to him for showing that he has the resolve to come back in a tough fight like this against a very hungry contender that believed and fought like he could win in Liam Wilson. But ultimately, the story of the fight to me is just how Liam Wilson didn't, put the exclamation point in getting Navarrete out of here, because to me he had to beat fighter right in front of him. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now you can boil that down to two things. It's either A, Wilson just wasn't that experienced enough for a moment like this, which was maybe the case. Like, he was 11-1, he only had 12 pro fights coming into this fight. So the fact that he even fought this well with 12 pro fights, I don't like moral victories, and I don't like to give fighters credit for like losing or whatnot. But for a guy with 12 fights to fight a championship level fight like Navarrete and fight the way he did in a fight, on a stage like this, it shows you that Liam Wilson does have something about him. And I wouldn't get discouraged about him. I would just keep going back to the lab, keep going back to the drawing board, and he could mess around one day and become champion. I think he's a really good fighter. I like him a lot. And as the fight went on, I began to really like him. He kind of won me over. But I think he needs a little bit more experience, and I think with the training he's doing under the watchful eye of Barry Hunter, he should be back in the mix. And I like to see Top Rank bring it back, and maybe even make this a rematch down the road. If Liam Wilson can get some wins over some top contenders and Navarrete can do his thing, I'll like to see a rematch as well. But now this sets up Navarrete for the fight that was initially supposed to happen for this fight, which is him and Oscar Valdez, a big Mexican fight. Now, to be honest, I think Navarrete is going to lose to Valdez. Based on what I've seen in this fight, and it just, I don't think he can beat an Oscar Valdez fighting the way he fought Liam Wilson. Valdez is a much more experienced fighter than Liam Wilson was. Valdez is also a harder puncher than Liam Wilson is at this weight, So I would like to see this fight happen. I'm gonna go with Valdez by stoppage. I just think Navarrete's gunslinging ways aren't gonna work against the smart, intelligent counter-punching style of a guy like Oscar Valdez. But it'll be a good fight, and I would expect both guys to put their best foot forward. I've seen like a couple people on Twitter, say that like these guys are trying so hard to be Morales and Barrera. They're trying to create that Eric Morales, Marco Antonio Barrera feel. And it is what it is, man. I look forward to it happening. I'm going with Valdez by stoppage. I'm getting it out there now. But to be honest, I would rather. I want to see this fight again at some point. I really thoroughly enjoyed Navarrete versus Liam Wilson. I think it was everything exceptional about boxing. 14-1 underdog coming out here, fighting his heart out till he couldn't fight no more. It really is what boxing is all about. So, we'll see what happens. But Navarrete definitely has some things to clean up and work on. And he's got to, I think, adjust his style a little bit fighting at a higher weight class. Because that high volume punching style, it's not going to work against Oscar Valdez. So, let me know what you guys think. What did you think about Liam Wilson and Navarrete? And now that you've seen that fight, how do you see Navarrete versus Valdez shaking out, and how do you see that going when it does happen? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure you subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.